In the movie Before the Flood, Leonardo DiCaprio travels the various locations to engage in deep conversation with prominent politicians about the fate of the planet, delving into investigating the effect of climate change throughout his journey. The movie highlights the impact of increases consumption facilitated by rapid transportation, leading to a surge in the use of technology in the construction of various structures that affect the environment. Industrialization and pollution driven by globalization have resulted in significant air and water pollution, damaging the environment and human health as depicted by the harmful smoke. The movie showcases the effect of extensive construction activity, towering buildings, widespread deforestation leading the flood, and oil sand, which were observed during DiCaprio's travel. The film depicts the consequences of globalization, including the rising sea levels and melting polar ice. DiCaprio calls for action from individual and purposes solution to address these issues.
Globalization opens opportunities for industrialization in many countries, especially in developing nations as industries grow, the consumptions of natural resources such as water, coal, and minerals also increases. While globalization connects economies, technology, and industries, it inevitably brings environmental consequences that needs to be addressed.
Globalization is taking a serious toll on the environment. According to National Geographic's documentary Before the Flood, increased emissions, deforestation, water pollution, and climate change are the result of globalization. It causes are the increase in consumption and production, expansion of industry and transportation. The effect are ecosystem destruction, loss of biodiversity, and climate change. The documentary directed by Leonardo gives a message about the importance of urgent action, international cooperation, policy change, and public education are needed to protect the environment. The documentary provides hope for the future by showing examples from countries and communities that action concerned for environment, we needed action now to protect our planet.
We can address the globalization on the documentary film of Before the Flood, just by mentioning the interconnectedness of every country in analyzing the issue of climate change. We can really address it as globalization because the effect of climate change was not just in one or two countries. It is all over the world.
Good afternoon, I am Irish A. De Los Santos. Question number 2. How can you address environmental issues by using globalization? While globalization has contributed to environmental challenges, it also offers opportunities to address them through international cooperation, technological innovation, and responsible consumption. By harnessing the power of globalization, we can work towards a more sustainable future for our planet.
Ceremony is the Academy Award Best Actor and the United Nations Messenger of Peace, Mr. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary General, for the honor to address this body. And thanks to the distinguished climate leaders assembled here today who are ready to take action. As a UN Messenger of Peace, I have traveled all over the world for the last 2 years. I have seen cities like Beijing choked by industrial pollution, ancient boreal forests in Canada that have been clear-cut, and rainforests in Indonesia that have been incinerated. In India, I met farmers whose crops have been literally washed away. In America, I have witnessed sea level rise flooding the streets of Miami. In Greenland and in the Arctic, I was astonished to see that ancient glaciers are rapidly disappearing, well ahead of scientific predictions. All that I have seen and learned on my journey has absolutely terrified me. Now think about the shame that each of us will carry when our children and grandchildren look back and realize that we had the means of stopping this devastation, but simply lacked the political will to do so. Yes, we have achieved the Paris Agreement. More countries have come together here to sign this agreement today than for any other cause in the history of humankind, and that is reason for hope. But unfortunately, the evidence shows us that it will not be enough. A massive change is required right now, one that leads to a new collective consciousness, a new collective evolution of the human race, inspired and enabled by a sense of urgency from all of you. We can congratulate each other today, but it will mean absolutely nothing if you return to your countries and fail to push beyond the promises of this historic agreement. After 21 years of debates and conferences, it is time to declare no more talk, no more excuses, no more 10-year studies, no more allowing the fossil fuel companies to manipulate and dictate the science and policies that affect our future. The world is now watching. You will either be lauded by future generations or vilified by them. You are the last best hope of Earth. We ask you to protect it, or we and all living things we cherish are history.